The Lakers fans are trying to talk themselves into, why not? Why can't we beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series? And last year, every game was close. They got swept by the Nuggets, but every game was close. And D'Lo played just as awful as an NBA player could play in that entire series. Some unfortunate bounces, and of course Jokic dominated. And you're hoping Anthony could, maybe, be more consistent with his play, because he would play, 35 and 15 one game, next game 11 and 6. So if he can be more consistent, and if D'Lo can play as like he played this season, and they're thinking they can have a better chance. LeBron, and the Lakers going up against the Nuggets here. So, of course, they advanced past the Pelicans. And for some odd, strange reason, they had the Pelicans favored. But, we talked about this earlier this year, where the Western Conference is all about matchups, and some teams just have other teams' numbers, and the Lakers just have the Pelicans' numbers. I mean, they beat them 4 times this year, and that was the closest game out of every matchup this year.
But watching the game, though, I mean, like if Zion doesn't go down when he did, I mean,
they could have won.
They were down, comfortably most of the game. They got back in it. The home crowd kind of came alive. They had a chance, and I think it kind of died when Zion left the game, which was unfortunate. I feel bad for him. But, it was what it was. I mean, the reality of this is the Lakers have actually been quite good for the last maybe 10 to 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
They've played good basketball. They've won the majority of those games. They're going to go into this series with about as much confidence as they can against a superior team.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a team that was like in the 10th, 11th place, and they fought their way into the 7th seed. And, the Lakers fans are trying to talk themselves into, why not? Why can't we beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series? And last year, every game was close. They got swept by the Nuggets, but every game was close. And D'Lo played just as awful as an NBA player could play in that entire series. Some unfortunate bounces, and of course Jokic dominated. And you're hoping Anthony could, maybe, be more consistent with his play, because he would play, 35 and 15 one game, next game 11 and 6. So if he can be more consistent, and if D'Lo can play as like he played this season, and they're thinking they can have a better chance, better shot at it. What do you think?
I wouldn't put anything of value of mine on the Lakers winning the series, but I'm also like, a competitive person, and it's like you have to believe you're going to win. You have to believe that you're going to get in this series and find a way to give Denver some problems, and then see how they react. I mean, that's the job. When you're the ostensibly inferior team, the task in front of you is to make the favorite uncomfortable, make them get out of character, and let the pressure switch on to them, and see how they react to that. That's the job.
To do that, you have to steal one in Denver.
Steal one in Denver?
Yeah.
Of course. You'll steal one anywhere. Steal one in the parking lot. Make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even you obviously can't win the series if you don't win 4 games. But even in game 1, even if you lost game 1, but you kind of get them out of character.
Yeah.
Maybe just get them rattled in some way by the way you're playing.
Do you send a prostitute to Jokic's hotel room?
No, I would. How could you not? A severed horse head.
Oh, you want to throw him completely off?
We're not doing this. We're not doing this for shits and giggles. I mean, we're Godfather in this motherfucker.
He's an animal guy too. He might really be emotional over that.
He'd be devastated. His prized horse head in his bed with him. Oh, that's easy, man.
No, but I initially I'm like, Lakers are headed to another sweep, walking into another, Western movie with no gun. But I don't know, man. I do think that they have a decent shot at making this a really interesting series to 6 or 7. And I I hate putting stock in the Lakers because LeBron just isn't LeBron anymore. When you watching him, he's like he'll get past his guy. He's missing layups. He's layups that would have been dunks 5 years ago. And he can still do things like he had about 6 passes that night that was just ridiculous. but then the athleticism is gone. It's like he can't take over the game, and neither. But Anthony Davis has never been
not
that.
wired
So
to
you're
do it,
so
yeah.
what you're held to is D'Lo being that guy, and I just would not want my life in D'Lo's hand.
Nobody would. Nobody would. I mean, probably not even his kid. You know, I mean, if we're just doing the odds. But yeah, I mean, the Denver's a favorite for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolute. I mean, they are the better team. They have more of their players in the prime of their career. They're deeper. They're more versatile. They're all those things. But again, this is why the games are played. And funky things happen, and you gotta give yourself a chance when you go into this.
Too.
Make it uncomfortable. Maybe there's a decisive injury. Maybe like they just benefited. Like Zion, pulls a hamstring in the fourth quarter when he's really going.
And guess what? And Jamal Murray has been like 50-50 last month or so as far as playing.
Right.
I don't know where his health is at.
Yeah, you gotta just I mean, like I said, if this is just a matter of betting who's gonna win the series, bet Denver. But if you're looking at this from the perspective of can the Lakers do something, they can. Is it likely? Not really. But there's a pathway to do it, and you got to just give everything you have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. DeJounte Porter, received a lifetime ban from the NBA for violating gambling rules here, and I kind of wanted to read what Sham says. So investigation shows on the 13 NBA bets. So 13 NBA bets Porter made. Total payout was $76,000. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. So that's wrong then. So Sham is saying, but this is on. Hold on. Let me read this first. Total payout was $76,059, resulting in a net winning. Okay, in a net winning of $21,965. So that is correct.
Okay.
3 of the bets were multi-game parlay bets that included one Raptors game in which Porter bet that the Raptors would lose. Okay. NBA investigation found that prior to March 20th game, Porter disclosed confidential information about his health to an NBA bettor. Okay, so remember what I told you.
Okay.
Another person connected to Porter placed an $80,000 parlay to win $1.1 million, wagering Porter would underperform, and that's the bet that got him. Okay, remember I told you that. I thought Porter made it, but it was another person connected to Porter. So that's what happened. So 13 total bets, and like I said, some was when he was in the G League, some when he was with the Raptors here, some on the team, and most on his individual play. Just awful. And I said it at the time, man. As you can see, this is what he made as a player. That's what he netted on those bets. And then also you got to think about these people close to him. So I don't know if he had to split the money, gives you know what I mean, like $21,000, basically $22,000, and maybe he had to split some of that.
Well, it sounds like the people around him were making their own bets.
Money. So so the 13 bets that he made, that's probably what he
with
made.
the assurance that he was gonna underperform.
That's a good point.
I mean, at the end of the day, the gambling, the players gambling, it is the taboo thing because it goes to the integrity of the game. And a lot of people can talk about this league is fixed or that it's kind of like in the wind. And people can have views about it, but when somebody actually participates in it and they get caught, there's no coming back. To me, the league has no choice. You can't make exceptions on this. You have to be definitive, and it has to be the lifetime ban. Otherwise, you're basically negotiating with the integrity of the game itself.
Yeah,
and that's as an ostensibly competitive product, you can't do that. You might as well turn into WWE wrestling at that point.
Yeah,
and so there's really no choice once this. I mean, Pete Rose, I think he's still banned from the Baseball Hall of Fame for gambling. And he's literally the all-time hits leader in all of baseball, and they've kept him out of the Hall of Fame since that all came to light. So, I'm not saying there aren't other guys doing this, and I thought we had a little bit of an interesting conversation that, it's, there's always a level that something goes under the radar, but when you get to a certain point, it gets wide enough, there becomes like a problem. Yeah. And, and then that's what gets the overreach always gets you caught. You talk about it like in terms of like a sports fight, like the person who reacts is the one that gets the flag or toss from the game. But like when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, it's the overreach that gets you.
Who do you think was the last person? I wouldn't have gotten this right, so it's okay if you don't. But let's play a little game. Who was the last person that received a lifetime ban
For betting?
from the NBA? No, just a lifetime ban, period. From the NBA.
Roy Tarpley?
No. Give you one more guess here. That's a good guess. So that was so two people have been banned since Roy Tarpley from the Dallas Mavericks. I didn't even know that was a name.
I remember the great career of Roy Tarpley.
So two people have been banned since Roy. That was 1995 for Roy.
Yeah.
So after 1995, you got to think about it. One is kind of obvious if you really think about it. The other one, I don't think you would have gotten.
Birdman?
No. So the obvious one is Donald Sterling.
Oh, he wasn't
really
a player.
thought about
That's
it.
not obvious because I was thinking of players, but you just said people banned.
Yeah.
But I was locked into players.
So the player, though, the most recent and he's the most recent person is O.J. Mayo.
That's right.
I didn't know, but I didn't know that.
I did remember he did get banned. What did he get banned for?
So O.J. was banned for violating NBA substance abuse policy by smoking weed and abusing painkillers.
But it was like multiple violations. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Roy Tarpley was a big drug guy too.
Yeah. That's what Roy was.
The 80s were like hellacious. I think it's like Michael Ray Richardson was another one. That was the 80s. That thing like in Last Dance when Michael was talking about his rookie year and guys doing cocaine in the room and everything, like that shit was true.
4 guys in the 80s were banned for substance abuse. 5.
Chris Washburn?
Washburn, Richard Dumas.
Richard Dumas, yeah.
Dumas.
Tarpley and
Eddie Johnson. And
from Phoenix?
Eddie Johnson. They got Seattle Supersonics down here.
Okay.
And John Drew. So that might be 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So Jonte,
And Len Bias banned himself.
Yeah, I know. Right? So permanently banned, dumb, idiot. I don't think, I don't think it's so much as the money as it is. It's like you said, taboo, and it's the thing to do. It's the hot thing to do. It's almost like it almost is like a fucking drug. You know what I mean? Because maybe he was betting, he's a younger player. Maybe he was gambling before he even fucking got to the league.
Probably. Or it's something that like he just like, kind of just got into. I mean, I think that there are certain things, and we kind of talked about this with the guests, like you have like the way the beauty industry has like a hold on women. But I think with men, there's certain things that I think kind of like are almost inherent to being a man that you kind of have to decide whether you want to partake of or not.
Yeah.
And I think gambling's one of them. I think a lot of men who have any interest in sport reach a point in life where they're going to dabble with the gambling. And, some of them do it for a brief period of time, whatever. Maybe they take a couple L's and they're out. Other people, it's kind of something that really stays with them for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's just, just like, I don't know, just like certain things, I guess that dudes do. But like, again, it's, to me, I think that it's almost like a peer pressure, but it's like just something that like you're going to face at one point or another. And like, are you going to want to do that or not? Even like playing golf. Like a lot of men are drawn into playing golf at some point in their life. And, it's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, am I going to be a golf guy? Take some lessons, pretend I know what I'm doing. I'm like, fuck all that. I don't like golf. It's just, it's just like,
No, that's true.
You know what else is like crack for people right now? That fucking pickleball.
Pickleball?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
think I heard that
it's like
yet.
kind of like tennis for unathletic white guys. And it's like a small court, a low net, and you use these paddles. And like people.
I've seen it then for sure.
Yeah. They have them in gyms now. Like you'll see, like and sometimes they'll like close the basketball court from 10 to 2 on Thursday morning because it's pickleball time. And
No,
it's
I tagged you on the Facebook post.
Did you?
I didn't know it was pickleball, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Remember? And it was like the gym is closed from,
Yeah,
and you,
yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
that's yours exact response was like
Yeah.
unathletic white guys.
Yeah. No, I said it's the unending search of white people to find a sport they could be good at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just like, hey, we're getting pushed out of everything else. Like, let's try pickleball.